I believe this is one of the Majingilanes, one of a coalition of 5 males that came in to Djuma just after the Mapojos. The Mapojos were a formidable coalition, a 6 male line, and they split up. 4 of them went south, 2 of them stayed around Djuma and the sort of northern part of the Sabi Sand. They were just near Buffelshoek. And these 5 boys came out of, I don't know where, maybe Manyaleti, maybe Kruger. 5 boys that were called the Majingilane. And when they came in, they were youngsters. They were younger than the Mapojos. But there were 5 of them, and there were only 2 of the Mapojos left up in that part of the Sabi Sand. And they had a confrontation. Anyways, the first time we encountered them was at Twin Dams back in 2010, and I think we were on 3D, filming 3D at the time. I remember I was with Tara. Maybe we weren't, we were still HD, but I don't know whether I was on camera for Tara or Tara was on camera for me, so it could have been 2011. But it was a good few years ago that they came in and they caused havoc in that part of the Sabi Sand. And well, a lot has changed since then. Of course, we finished at the end of 2011, and now coming back, I believe these boys found their way down towards Ulusaba and the west, Inyati, Idube, the lodges to the west of the Sabi Sand. And if it is them, then it's quite remarkable that they've come back. They've joined up with this carpet of lion that we know as the Tsalalas, the breakaway pride of the Tsalalas. And there is literally a carpet of lion here. We're on a little bit of what we call a sodic site. It's an area where water leaches out of the soil from the slope behind us and washes out a lot of salts and a lot of minerals that actually bleach the soil a little bit, and erosion occurs, and it's what we call a sodic site. So they're enjoying the fact that there hasn't been much sunshine. It's been cloudy and the sand isn't very hot. It's decomposing granite and quartzite for the most part, so it's pale and it's cool. And I'm hoping that they're going to be waking up pretty soon. We've been sitting here for some time now. There are lion everywhere. One of the main trees that you're going to find around here are these tambutis, and they almost get stunted. There's another one of the males just that Jason just showed you now. And this lovely big tree here in front of us and further back are tambutis. And amongst this tambuti is, they're just lying everywhere. There's one behind there. I've counted more than 15 already. Well, at least. We're not going to get much of a sunset. On the edge of the sodic site, the last really dominant plant species you get on the edge of the sodic site is the guari, and then in the sodic soils you're going to have the tambutis and maybe 1 or 2 other knobthorns. But there's a lot of guari behind us and a few acacias and things, but there's a sun peering out from the clouds, so we might be able to swing by or swing around and see a little bit of the sunset. And as it goes down and as it gets cooler, hopefully these children are going to wake up and we'll see a little bit of stretching and a little bit of yawning. And who knows, if they go further northeast from where we are now, we're going to lose them entirely. My guess is that they might actually head west, but we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully we'll be able to. Hat. Okay, well, it authenticates the shot if my hat's in the shot. This is real. We're not splicing in edited material. But yeah, sorry about my hat, folks. I'll try and keep it out of the way. Now, having seen these 2 males fast asleep, I might need to move if someone else is coming in. But I'd also like to move just to the other side of this little guari thicket, because then we can see this little bowl on my right where most of the pride is lying. bunch of young males. I think there are 9 sub-adults, and well, I'm still learning about them. 6 females and 3 young male sub-adults, and then there are the, how many in Pride in total? 12 or 13. If there's 9 sub-adults, that means that there's at least 4 adult females. And now, by the looks of things, these 2 males that are joining them, I don't know how many there are of these Majingis, but for now, just to give you, in case we have to go, I'm going to give you another look at it from a different angle. Of the majority of the pride, actually. Was when we arrived here. Now there's, I can only see about 2, 4, 6 of them. And then 6 there, 8, 10, he's 11, that one's 12. Clearly one of the little boys lying closest to us with his head downstream in the eroded area. I'm guessing one of the adult females just below him, looking a bit bigger than him. The first stirrings, feet and limbs moving, but I think it'll still be a little while before we get some real movement out of them, unless of course something were to walk by or make a sound. So I think the wonderful thing about the fact that these lions have all lived here and grown up to the presence of vehicles at some point in their lives allows us to be able to sit here. There's one of the, she's a big girl. Well, probably, can you see her head? No. Oh, she just rolled over. Magnificent big lioness. But a really wonderful thing that we were able to sit here we're not threatened by the fact that we are sitting, the two of us, in an open vehicle, surrounded, well, at least 150 degrees to our left is a pride lion numbering, I would say, at least 15 individuals, 2 big males, adult females, sub-adult cubs. But to be able to sit here and not feel threatened is because there is a consistency in behavior of the vehicles here, and it's something that they're all born to over the years. Even in the Kruger National Park, it's very similar in that the vehicles or people don't really play a part in their existence. There's neither danger, they're never chased by people, or is in prey, they never chase people. Whether that changes just or not is irrelevant. The fact is we are able to sit here and act as voyeurs. The male's starting to get a bit active now. One of those Majingis. Maybe we need to go back and see him, because I know that there are people out there that can give me a positive identification of who he is, if he is. But let's, yeah, he's getting up. Let's see if he's probably going to go and toilet and but I want to just get to see him, because we might look at that, the whole pride. We're looking at the sunset. Pardon?
You are anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, dude. Jason, no, you can't. Yeah, well, to put the camera on him, but we have to look away. We've got to sort of pretend we're at least. I'm certainly not driving over that. So you want to come behind me? Sorry, old man. Oh. He's going for a walk. He did? Yeah. Did he spray the car? I don't believe him. We now belong to a Majingilane. If he is, please, Sol, help. And I'm trying to think other people who are good with the lions, or who are good with the lion's head. And all he's done is lay down where we were parked earlier to see the whole pride. So very well, Mr. Lion. Get your message. We now we'll get there where we can see him, and where we can see his brother too. And we now can't go back there. In fact, we can't get out of here now because he's sleeping on the road. Our path, our exit strategy is now blocked. I think it's his strategy that he's now blocking our exit. His brother's pretending to be asleep on the side, and the whole pride, well, most of them are behind us, Gwari and Tambuti in front of us. So they've got a good strategy to surround us and pounce soon when it starts getting dark. Flat cats. We wait and see what we're going to see what happens here. Wow. It looks like he actually deposited he toileted at a spot where something else toileted earlier. So it looks like it's quite deliberate. Maybe one of the cubs.
That's right.
Is that? That's what lion dung looks like. Scat, lion scat, that's very big. It's probably about 2 inches in diameter. But very clearly, from a recent kill, not towards the end of a recent kill, not a fresh kill, because then it would be very wet and very dark and almost sort of that color of coagulating blood. The fact that it is quite dry and solid means there's a lot of hair and skin and hair and bone and other fragments in there that make it pretty solid. Kind of their roughage, the equivalent of their roughage, I suppose. Towards the end of the kill, when they're finishing up the scraps, there's the hair and bone and skin and gristle and the stuff they haven't eaten much of yet. Towards the beginning of the kill, they're eating the soft and reddest parts of the meat, which have the most blood content, and that's why the dung is different at the beginning of a kill. And I have no doubt that the whole bunch of them are, actually no, it's only the males, come to think of it. The rest of the pride's looking pretty narrow-bellied. These two big boys seem to have come in off of a big kill somewhere. I'm not sure if there is a third with them. I'm not sure if it is only the two. There are only really a couple of access spots to get to view them in the Sodic site. And one can't really drive too much on it because you're just exacerbating the erosion. So we just got to sort of sit on the edge and hope that they're going to be getting up soon. The sun's gone down and the sky's getting grayer, of course, and looks like it's leading to but the fact that it hasn't been very hot might mean that they might move a little bit earlier today, and that would be really nice to see if they do start getting together. Bless you. Got such a fat belly. Hello Ryan. Question from Utah. Ryan wants to know, when they do wake up, who and how do they decide which direction? Who decides? How do they decide? I suppose that's one of the questions we'll ask forever, Ryan. It's one of those things that only the lion know, really. To a large extent, it depends on... Oh, I said the word. Well, that's because it is. It depends on so many different factors. And wherever they are, whatever they've been doing will determine where they need to go or what they need to do after that. Whether they're on a kill and they need to stay there, or when they finish the kill they need to move on. It could have something to do with the direction of the wind. It could have something to do with where they feel they need to be within their territory. Could have something to do with the fact that they heard lion the night before in a particular direction and they might be associated with them and they're moving in that direction, or it could be that they heard lion that are in that particular direction and they want to move in the opposite direction. There is no way on earth that us humans can ever try to work out why or who or how it is that they decide where they want to go the next day. And I think it's that very, very fact, that very thing, that very fact of wonder that keeps us coming back for more all the time. Because if it was predictable, if we would be able to say, oh well, they're going to get up and they're going to move there or there, and then we can just go there and wait for them, although that would be nice on some, and in some respects it takes everything out of it. The fact that it is random, you see, it has to be random. It has to be where they're going to move to an area that no animal is going to expect their presence, so that they can hunt for a while or exist without being hassled too much within the territory. And they do this: they kill something, they eat something, they defecate, they urinate, they spend time, they leave their scent, they scratch on trees, and all that really does is it's another area within their territory where they've had presence, where their scent stays behind, where the evidence of what they've done and who they are is there for weeks and weeks on end, so that in all the movements around the territory and around the area where they live in, that over time you get these pockets of very strong sense which keep other lion away, because other lion get to know how many lion there are, what status they are, and of course they hear each other at night and they know how many there are and the difference between males and females and ratio of big males and females. So it's not so much where they go and why they, or rather who decides. It's if anything, it's the alpha female that probably decides, and it's the males that tag along. But more that they do. It's more a case that they, or rather the fact that they do move on, or that they do need to move on. Once they've been in an area, especially where they've urinated and defecated and maybe killed and eaten and left remains, and there's been a lot of noise, there's been a lot of roaring, there's been a lot of vocalizing, and they've been present in an area, they're clearly not going to have much luck hunting in that area. So the need to move on is also that they need to go and hunt in another part of their territory where they're not going to be expected. And since one of the alpha female, or the alpha female, is the one that decides how the hunt goes and who they hunt and when they hunt and how, she will make a decision. She'll wake up and she'll sniff the wind and she'll listen to the sounds of nature, and she'll decide, and it'll only be that moment when she wakes up that anybody will know. But we will never know what motivates her. That's the beauty of nature. That's the beauty of being able to spend time with them and being able to be with them, is that we don't know what they're going to do next. I mean, he was sleeping a little while ago, and then he got up and he toileted, and after that, instead of going to lie down or going to greet his brother, he chose to walk right up to us. I was about to sort of reverse. I was about to try and back up a little bit to give him space, but he decided to move through the guarri bush, and I probably would have just disturbed him if I started up the vehicle and blasted him with carbon monoxide and exhaust fumes. So I left it, and evidently he actually sprayed the back of the vehicle, which might make things interesting the next time we bump into the Matimbas, since we will be the equivalent of a Majingilane moving through the Matimbas territory, or the Salati males, or any of the other lions. That might make things interesting, especially since we might inadvertently driven over some scat. I think Scott's got something, or signal might be back.